What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Game Time Discussions. I'm Emory Cousin, I'm here with Kam and Emory, and we're going to be going over the main slate for week 2 of NFL football. Very exciting. We had a lot to talk about on our last slate for the Green Bay Washington game that concluded last night. A lot of fun football that happened last week. So hopefully we get another great week of football.
To be honest, like the main slate breakdown, like our weakness last year, we killed prime times, we killed showdowns. Our weakness was main and getting the right stacks. Well, this year, main honestly was our best asset of the weekend. But the problem is the big stand taking George Kittle, catching a touchdown, 12 fantasy points in the first quarter, and then immediately being ruled out for the next month. Really killed it because of the fact that he was shockingly 10% owned, and he was our most exposed tight end. But that was a huge bummer. It still was fine. It was a fun weekend. Shout out to Dusty, really taking down the season opening contest, and then he asked us to build a line on the Sunday live stream, and that one ended up cashing. That was what we built it on the
best line on.
That was the best
we had.
Best point total of the line we built it on the spot on Sunday morning. So please go check it out or check out us Sunday morning if you want to get ready for lines. If you're have any questions, concerns about your start sits, anything you want to talk about fantasy football related, we are the guys to be talking to on your Sunday morning. So with that said, let's get into the slate. 11 gamer. 2 Monday night games this week. So we're not going to be talking about, we're not going to have a special video this week, but we might talk about the Monday only showdown on Sunday live. But 11 game slate, 5 highest totals on the week. Jacksonville and Cincinnati running it back 50.5. That the Bengals are going to be in the highest total game a lot of times this year. Bears and Lions, 47. Bills, Jets. Jets apparently just are going to be in shootouts now, not the lowest total games. Not related to what we see. And then Bills obviously having the sexy comeback on Sunday night. Eagles, Chiefs, 45.5. Basically bad start for the Eagles. Chiefs all of a sudden now they're back to their normal. I have no receivers to play with their injuries. And Browns, Ravens round out top 5, 45.5. And then 2 games to me that stand out that might be a little bit overlooked. Panthers and Cardinals at 45. That might be my favorite. There's a lot of 12 o'clock games this week, but 3 o'clock, that might be the favorite one that might be a little overlooked in terms of stacking.
Sure.
And then Patriots and Dolphins. Dolphins, literally, they're going to be one of the worst defenses in the NFL this year. Patriots were in a bad weather game, but still had a ton of volume, and we could really take advantage of somebody that, might have some good opportunities in fair weather.
Yeah. Still waiting on Xavier Worthy's injury. We're monitoring it. George Kittle, like you said, IR. Quinshon Judkins might play this week. We'll see.
May or may not.
Yeah.
We're not playing him in DFS, but it's just worth noting because Dylan Sampson, what do you know? It's not Jerome Ford, like we were saying all summer long. Had 8 catches, receptions on his debut to lead the team against Cincinnati. So that is a huge kind of asterisk on him because that makes him truly viable if Quinshon still misses another week. Brock Purdy apparently has 2 injuries, may not play. Juwan Jennings, good news on his shoulder injury. However, he is still uncertain for this weekend. So literally, it's just puke with San Francisco against New Orleans. So kind of a weird spot to talk about with them. And then the last 2, Isaiah Likely still unknown because he's been missing with his ankle injury. And then Evan Ingram, worth noting because he left the fourth quarter with a calf.
Absolutely. So let's get into the slate and get talking about some quarterbacks. Obviously, the first quarterback you have to talk about is Mr. Josh Allen after 41 points.
Why is he so cheap?
He's 71 on gas.
I don't know.
It's freaking crazy. James Cook can go in there. He got another touchdown this week. I'm telling you, it's going to regress, but I just don't know when. I'm like,
and he almost got a second
downing it
on a 50-yard.
Got stopped at the 1-yard line. Yeah. Some Bills and putting some Bills in there. Josh Palmer has to go in there because he got 11 fantasy points. Everybody got fantasy points this week.
Yep.
Big name is Keon Coleman after his fourth quarter, seven catches in the towards the end of the game and just kind of took over on the league.
And then also last guy, if you wanted to clip his name, Dalton Kincaid. He was our big stand last year as he's a breakout candidate, and they just didn't. Josh Allen was elite throwing everywhere except for him.
Yep.
Basically overthrew him on a wide open touchdown, made him injured his knee, and he was not the same the rest of the year. This year they started out with a bang. Their opening touchdown was to Mr. Dalton Kincaid. Had a very solid debut in year 3, 4 for 48 and a tutty. But Josh Allen, these prices came out after that game. So I have no idea what they're doing with both Lamar and him being low 7K. They should both be pushing 8. The problem is that this is a perfect week to do the puke stack, but because it's so easy to get up to them, it's just really hard to not have some exposure to Josh Allen this week. But it's worth noting he's going to be probably the most owned quarterback for that.
Oh yeah. The skill players are too cheap. That's kind of the thing too. It's like you can double stack him and not be worried about your money,
Right.
Because of the fact that they're so cheap. Let's go over to the next one. It'll clear. There we go. It is going to be Mr. Joe Burrow, 6,600, playing the Jacksonville Jaguars in the highest game total, like we talked about. Chase Brown, got to go in there. You got to get, of course, the most expensive receiver in Jamar Chase, who had a dud in week 1. Maybe people don't believe that he's going to be that good, and they think he's going to have a dud in week 2, and you just play him because he's good at football. That's not how it works, guys.
Yep.
Tight end wise, Noah Fant was the main tight end, I believe.
Yes.
Snap count wise, I don't have it in front of me. Let me go grab it because they have like 4 tight ends on their team. And
basically, it was a historically bad second half for a winning team. They were the first team, it was the lowest yardage total in a half for a team that won the game in 25 years. They had 7 total yards in the second half. It absolutely killed everybody's line because a lot of people had the Cincinnati game, and the bring back for David Njoku, Jerry Judy, both of them busted out in favor of 2 rookies. Harold Fenton Jr. debuted and had a hell of a start.
Yeah.
And then I mentioned previously Dylan Sampson have a really good PPR performance.
Yeah.
17 points. I bet you he was in a lot of our starting lines for best ball. It was a very good week.
Sure he was. Yeah, absolutely. By snap counts, Drew Sample had 69%, Noah Fant had 50%, and Mike Gesicki had 31%. So that tells you nothing, basically. That helps us with absolutely nothing. But yeah, so this is the team basically right here. These are the 4 guys you're going to be getting. If you're going to get Joe Burrow, you're probably going to put 2. You're definitely going to put 2 of these guys in there. If you want to get different, you're probably going to fade Chase. Which Chase? I don't know. But yeah, honestly.
And what's funny is that I just don't know what to do with like ownership right now. I mean, I'm looking at some ownership, and Joe Burrow is next to no own, and it makes no sense because this is the highest total game. I would expect him to be in the top 5 highest owned. He is not close to that, at least in the initial projection we're seeing. But the skill players are, once again, Chase Brown being the highest owned projected skill player right now. Jamar Chase not too far behind them. The biggest one I think will be interesting as leverage. Once again, I kind of mentioned a little last week, but T. Higgins, because of his dud and because he's the third fiddle in terms of importance based on position, I think he'll be overlooked, but he actually dropped in price, whereas Jamar Chase did the same. Chase Brown went up, yet Chase Brown and Jamar Chase's ownership are going to be the same or possibly more, whereas T's gone down dramatically because he was a top 5 owned receiver last week.
Right. Cool. That's
I'm not playing any of the Bengals than these 3 the rest of the season. I'm just never going to stack unless we're doing a showdown and I have to play $2,000 tight end. I'm just not doing it.
It works too. Just everybody knows.
It's not on these slates. That's not on these slates.
No, on showdown though, you can get a Drew Sample for 1 catch for 12 yards and be happy. Okay, so sure. Next up, Kyler Murray, James Conner, and Trey Benson. I know we're not going to really talk about these running backs and getting to them, but both guys we probably should shout out. Trey Benson had 8.5 fantasy points on good. I think he had a really long run. Is what it happened.
What's hilarious is that all summer long that they were saying, "Hey, this is gonna not necessarily going to be a split backfield, but like Trey Benson's going to get his." And everybody's like, "No, it's James Conner's show. Look what he did last year. Trey Benson wasn't good." And then week 1, all of a sudden, look who's more explosive. And James Conner salvaged with a shovel pass touchdown, but he didn't do anything else. Trey Benson, was basically a 60-40 split in terms of snaps and opportunities, but that can only increase for somebody who was one of the first running backs taken in 2024. And we really liked him. We were getting a ton of him in best ball for that very reason. Until James Conner goes down, it's going to be really hard to trust him on these slates.
Right.
But I hope when it does happen, James Conner is middle of the week and he stays that price is 4,600 and it's just an easy clip.
Absolutely. The guys that we're really going to talk about though are Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride. Marvin Harrison getting the touchdown. They were playing against New Orleans. They really didn't have to do much offensively, but they did enough to just kind of get out of there. Now they're playing Carolina. It's going to be a similar situation, possibly, if Bryce Young can't figure it out on the other side of the ball. Mm-hmm. So Marvin Harrison's probably got the highest floor on this team, in my personal opinion.
He does, but the only thing is because Bob Bowers is not on this slate, George
Yeah,
Kittle is now
yeah.
out on IR. Trey McBride has a massive leverage spot in terms of being the only dominant tight end.
Right.
You have to still only, it's only 6,000. It's not like it's crazy. There's still value everywhere else. So I would like to get up to some Trey McBride. He had a very modest 12.5 points, but say he goes for that 100-yard bonus like we've seen multiple times before, where they're actually not playing from 2 possessions ahead. That could possibly not be this week because it's also Carolina. Carolina was awful last week. But it's worth noting because he's just kind of on an island by himself. Marvin Harrison, second-year breakout. We are believers. We didn't believe in anything of Will saying that he's just not it.
He's
It's
just
not
not
going to
good.
work. He got unnecessarily swole, and then he just comes in. He's just awesome in week 1. Doesn't need to do a ton. I don't know if you were watching the game, but there was a very good chance he could have had a 99-yard touchdown, but Kyler missed him on a wide open throw. Yeah, he would have broke the slate up, and we were way over the field. 18 points, he was in the optimal line, so it felt pretty good calling that out. But 5,800 goes up $300. It's still not enough, in my opinion. The only thing is just, is there enough of a floor baked in to be way over the field, or is everybody going to flop to it? It's going to be interesting to see what his ownership does throughout the rest of the
I kind of feel like this is the lowest we're going to see. Like naturally, he's just going to keep going up. He'll probably end up in that like 65 to 6 to 6 to 7,000 range. But yeah, so this is Arizona. Pretty easy. Trust Kyler, don't trust Kyler. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's frustrating. It's so frustrating watching him play because we had exposure to Cherry and Marvin last week, and I was on the quad box on YouTube TV watching him, and it's just like you bail immediately. You're just scattering all around, and it's just all no substance, all movement. It's frustrating to watch. I hate their play calling. There was like a 3rd and 17, and I was like, they're gonna run a watch, and they ran it, and it's just like I can't stand it on a weekly basis. I don't know how Dusty does it.
he probably doesn't. He probably doesn't watch. But let's go over to Trevor Lawrence and Mr. Travis Etienne doing that thing. And now he's behind him that we're not going to put on here, but they will get a bump because Tank Bigsby gets traded over to the New Orleans Saints. So Bashal Tootin and Quint Allen Jr. Quint actually played more snaps than Bashal Tootin. Putting that out there. Will both be guys that will get the second reps behind Travis Etienne.
Well, you know, Travis is actually good when it's a contract year and he's in an offense that can make PPR running backs look good. I mean, his first game having 16 carries, 143 yards, got to play from way ahead. So he didn't get to show off his pass catching upside, which going into the season, it was like he had the firm roll on that and just depending on, is this Austin Eckler upside, or is this just like,
is this first round Travis Etienne again?
Yeah, or is this just kind of not really interested in playing you every week? And he really was awesome. That trade happening the day after just gives me a lot more confidence in him, more so than Bashal Tootin to me. 5,700 could make him one of the most popular running backs, so maybe it's a position to get off. But Cincinnati, I really feel good about building with them. And I think the natural bring back because of that news is going to be Etienne. So just kind of worth noting because Brian Thomas coming off a dud. Travis Hunter almost had he almost had an 85-yard touchdown as well. Jason Horn, one of our favorite corners of the show, might have been the play of the week in terms of the pick that had happened on him.
He's a stud.
And then Brandon Strange, somebody that we shouted out as a low cheap tight end, having a really strong game last week as well. Only $3,600. So make that what you will. But this game is going to be very high owned. But the thing is, Trevor Lawrence as the double is not going to be nearly as popular as Joe double with Chase and Chase or Chase and Higgins or Chase. Like, that's just kind of the way I think it's going to be different, but being in the exact game that you want.
Absolutely. Okay. I think we'll go on if I get my mouse to move. Hello? Mouse? Oh, there you go. And go over.
Yeah.
Quarterback. Next quarterback is going to be Caleb Williams. We saw him on Monday night. He had 24 points, a lot of it coming in the first half. And then the second half was obviously not as good. They're playing against the Detroit Lions, who also didn't look good in their first game. And their defense is not as good as it was with Aaron Glenn. So very interesting talking points, but definitely looking at the receiver prices is just some craziness.
Yeah.
We got
So
what are we supposed to do in here?
Once again, I understand that these prices came out before the Monday game took place, but they shouldn't have started this low to begin with.
No.
Didn't make any sense. Rome started out at 5,500. I'm sorry, 5,300 on the Monday contest.
Yeah.
So he went down $500 before the game was played. DJ Moore started out 6,100, went down $500. Colson Loveland, he didn't play enough to where he's really warranted, but Olamide Zaccheaus, 3,600. He was basically on the field 75% of the time. DeAndre Swift has all the important touches for Chicago, only $5,700. This is way too cheap in a game that I really kind of want to get really way over the field to.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, because I know this is your first time looking at the prices and stuff like that. Maybe that could influence your position. But the narrative, Ben Johnson returning to play his old team, Detroit. Who do you think has the advantage? The old coach coming in or the team that is going to be like, no, we didn't need you? Coming off a bad loss, usually we bet on good teams that coming off of embarrassing performance.
I think I side with Chicago.
Yep.
But that's more so because I think that there's just a lot of intangibles on the team. They played good defense against Minnesota in the first half too. They had a pick six, even without their one of their best corners and then their third best corner. I think that this team is just really good. And I think Ben Johnson made some bonehead decisions in the first game, and now he has to fix that, and that type of thing too. I probably side with the coach coming in to play his old team.
I 1,000%
disrespected.
am on that side.
Yeah.
I don't think that Detroit will struggle as much offensively as they did against Green Bay.
Sure.
However, like Chicago had their way with them offensively last year with incompetent. Like we had on the Thanksgiving slate, played the low roam Caleb Williams, and he went for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, I believe. Last week, a lot of the narrative because the end of the game, Caleb was inaccurate. He was bad. Purely from a fantasy perspective, awesome game. 23 fantasy points. So on top of that, DJ Moore had an open touchdown that he missed him on, but he was clearly, doing well. And
Rome did well.
Also, it's not like he missed him because he didn't throw it to him, but there was a post route, I don't know if you saw earlier in the game, where he beat the guy and was just running down the seam. And if Caleb held on for a second, like there was no one near him. And on top of that, the play of the night, at least for Caleb, was the dart on the sideline to Roman on the first possession that led to a score. So those two guys, I think I'm in love with the fact of getting to them this week. I think because of the narrative surrounding them, that ownership is going to be diluted. I really think this game should be way, way, on people's minds. And right now the ownership is just not reflecting it. Only Jahmyr Gibbs is above 10% owned. And I just want to be like 5X the field on a lot of these Chicago guys.
I think Olamide Zaccheaus is a guy that you have to kind of think about too, because you could easily just get him in a double with Caleb and you pick your guy, Rome or DJ, either way. And then you get a huge discount on price and on the field of for ownership. And Zaccheaus he only played 45%, but when he was on the field, they were throwing the hell of the ball on him, and he's their like safety net right now. It's not a tight end; it's Zaccheaus.
Right.
And so I think that he's a guy that we should probably keep as like one of the cheaper guys.
And I hope it stays this way. But right now, Caleb Williams is showing as about 3% owned.
Okay.
And if that's the case, and you have both of his receivers below 6%,
yeah, it's gonna be hard.
And they're cheap.
Not
like that. That might be my favorite play on the week. On top of that, being in a bowl, revenge narrative, coming off a short week, nobody really wants to play them. Yeah. Detroit, everybody's going to want to say they rebound, and maybe they do. Maybe they win this game 30-27. But guess what? Chicago can still salvage, have a great fantasy turn output for you. I don't expect Caleb to follow up that performance with a fantasy dud this week, and that's why I'm so high on him.
Sure. Yeah, I get it. And I think that Ben Johnson obviously is more of an offensive mind than they had in prior years when they started to lose.
Yeah.
Drake May, 5,200. That's pretty cheap. And
this is a very
on. I'm not going to put Rhamondre in there. Pop looked great. First off, let's just put that out there. Pop looked awesome. Pop Douglas, Stephon looked good. Where's Keishon Boutte? No.
Well, Keishon Boutte was the talk of it because he goes for 100. Pop actually finished with less receiving yards than he started the game with.
Yeah.
He had 2 total yards on 3 touches, but he scored the tutty.
He should have had 2.
Yeah.
And they got overthrown.
Yeah, and this was a double stack, which lo and behold is probably a good thing that we ended up fading the situation because we really liked the leverage getting to a low on New England against the Raiders in their bad secondary, but there was weather involved. It was the worst weather game on the day. And on top of that, I don't think we were really considering Hunter Henry and Keishon Boutte, and they were the 2 leading receivers for the New England Patriots. Going forward, they're playing Miami Dolphins. And guess who was the worst defense of the weekend? It is the Miami Dolphins, who allowed Daniel Jones to be the optimal millionaire maker quarterback, going for over 30 fantasy points, 3 total touchdowns, 2 on the ground. And guess what? Drake May, rushing upside, he's the way better quarterback. And I was very encouraged on the fact that year 2, with a lot of new guys, they still, even in bad weather, game 1, had Drake May having the ball in his hands, 50 opportunities between passing attempts and rushing the football. He just didn't. He only scored once. But this week, I expect a very, very, very different result.
I really like Hunter Henry in this game in general because I think that Drake looks for him. Like, Drake wants to get the ball to Hunter Henry. He's going to give him targets. I mean, he'll probably
Time
get
for the
6
team
targets.
lead. Time for the team lead with 8 targets last week. And on top of that, if you want to go back to the Miami game, guess who went off? It was Tyler Warren in his NFL debut with 79 total yards, 8 opportunities, led the team with 9 targets. So if there is a situation to take advantage of, it's probably going to be at tight end for only $4,000, and then pick whatever receiver you want that is all below 5K. Boutte is going to be probably the most popular because of that most recent performance. But like you said, Douglas should have caught 2 touchdowns, and then the sexy name Stephon Diggs, who had an okay.
He played 41% of the snaps. I mean, he's going to have to get on the field.
He does.
But, he's the old guy. So it is what it is. Like, he's going to probably play 60% of the snaps in most games and probably get his.
I just hope it won't be the role of what DeAndre Hopkins was last year, where they traded for him or signed him, and he had a great first game with 2 touchdowns, and then just only played 45% of snaps the entire season when they needed receiving production.
And they wouldn't put him on the field.
Yeah. So with Diggs, I hope it's, even if you get only to 60%, you are on the field with all the important spots and leverages and stuff like that. But the talk of it is just going to be how well owned this team's going to be. I don't think anybody's really going to want to touch Miami because of what they just put out. On top of that, New England's defense is pretty solid. They did a really, really nice job on Ashton GT. Really, the only guy that went off was Brock Bowers in limited snaps, not only because of scheme, but also he did go down with an injury. And then Jacoby Myers had a pretty solid day as well.
Yeah. Okay, so we have one more thing we're talking about. You kind of brought it up. It's Brock Purdy. The expected starter, if Brock Purdy is out, is Mac Jones. He's $4,000. You could literally do that and play everybody around him and not stack him. I don't even think you have to stack him.
You don't have to, but you know the 2 that is going to, because every still player is hurt.
Yeah. You literally will have Christian McCaffrey.
So Christian McCaffrey out of my calf, and we were on the live show, and I'm glad we stuck to our guns because we were like, hey, don't worry about that. Still be over the field. And we were like, we're going to be double the field. Well, lo and behold, they were even more scared. We were triple the field. 31 opportunities. He just didn't score the touchdown.
I know.
And then Ricky Pearsall wanted to be overweight to him. Juwan Jennings is playing, though. It's okay. He's only 4,500. Go for 100 yards. George Kittle, I don't know why he was only 10%. That was going to be a fantastic day if he stayed healthy. He is on IR now, but Jennings is hurt. So if it's only Mac Jones at 4,000, Chris McCaffrey is going to have another 25 to 30 opportunities. He's going to be the most popular back, but screw it. Ricky Pearsall is going to be popular because he's 300. Screw it. You know the 2. If you do this double, I don't even care about bringing it back. It just affords you whatever you want. Sure. So that's just worth noting. If and when it happens, if Brock Purdy does play, I'm not stacking Brock Purdy with them, but both of those guys are still in play.
Yeah, absolutely, individually. And then let's take these teams off, and we'll get to the running backs. The running back field, starting up top, of course, like you said, Christian McCaffrey is going to be the most played player, most likely at the running back position, 7,500, but he has literally no one else to compete for the ball. Like if he's getting, you just said 31 touches last week?
Yep.
and they have less players now. I mean,
I don't care about how much you're cramping, Christian. We need this win against
Yeah.
New Orleans. Fortunately, they have an easy schedule over the next 3 weeks, but they really need all the help they can get. Chris McCaffrey still has not scored since 2023. So he's due for a tutty. We used to do a weekly just bet to score. If you would have parlayed that for an entire season, you would have made a lot of money in 2023 when he was the RB1 overall. But second highest owned, showing running back the highest optimal rate of all the expensive running backs. So really enjoyed the spot with him. But the difference is this week is that I really kind of am interested in a lot of guys surrounding him, namely Jahmyr Gibbs.
Sure.
Coming off a game where he did nothing against Green Bay, but he still caught 10 passes and still found a way to get to 17 points. This week against a softer matchup, Jordan Mason really started to open up holes on Monday night, and then Aaron Jones had a bad day and then salvaged with a 33-yard touchdown, go-ahead touchdown against Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So if Jahmyr is going to be getting the floor of 17 points, even in bad performances, I really want to get to him. He might be my favorite bring back in Chicago builds. And on top of that, I just don't know if his ownership will be high enough. Right now, he's showing as the 5th highest owned, but that's still going to be in the 15-ish% range, and I just don't think that's enough.
Sure. Next up, we talked about Chase Brown a little bit. He's another guy we're going to get to. Jonathan Taylor against Denver. It's a hard defense, but it doesn't matter.
He played 100% of the snaps until they pulled the starters. 53 for 53, and it just happened to be Daniel Jones ran for 2 touchdowns and threw for 1, but that was one of the most incredible positives of the weekend for somebody that didn't have a great day was Jonathan Taylor in the workload he did, not coming off the field, looking healthy, looking great. He just didn't score. I feel really good about him. This week is really tough, like you said, being, touchdown dogs at home, but we've seen weird things. Denver played really down to Tennessee's, and Tennessee couldn't really move the ball. So if Indy is coming out swinging against Miami and they have some success, he could be, one of the safer running backs for some lower ownership.
Sure. And then we talked about James Conner. He's another guy we're going to be looking at this week. Breece Hall at 6,200. He had he was just the most explosive I've seen him in a long time. That is the most explosive I've seen him. And he's going against the Jets, who just let 34 points up against Pittsburgh. So I don't see why he couldn't. He is a receiving back.
And Derrick Henry, going for 170 all-purpose yards, 2 scores. That Buffalo defense looks like what we expected Cincinnati to look like defensively. And if that's the case, and it's going to be shootouts every week. And we saw the Jets, even though they did not win the game, I was pleasantly surprised by how good their offense was compared to the rumors and how the vibes were going into the season.
Right.
Garrett Wilson on my bench in every league that I have him in, but he looked awesome as well. So him being 65, Breece Hall being 62, easy bring back options for a affordable Buffalo in a very interesting spot this week.
Yep. And then Kamara, a guy that we always weary to get to, but he is playing San Francisco this week. And we said it last week, San Francisco's D-line isn't that good. And then Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet have a split and they can't get it going. So they made it look a little bit better than I think they are. But Kamara is the receiving back and he gets those PPR points no matter what. So he's always in play. Chuba Hubbard, 6,000. Chuba just, chugga right there, right? You know what I mean?
I mean, he's a guy that just kind of gets all the volume and you just don't know about the receiving upside. Well, he was in when they were down by 3 scores and he salvaged with a 30-yard receiving touchdown. And I was like, yes, that's finally. I mean, we were talking about going into the weekend. He's the most overlooked RB2 and he's just going to be there. And I don't know about dynasty-wise how big his outlook is. He was extended for what it's worth.
Yeah.
But he is the guy until he goes down and his price didn't move. Arizona, I mean, they look pretty solid against New Orleans, but, as long as it stays close, he has the 20-point upside. I just hope his ownership kind of stays down because of the name. But right now, it looks like he's one of the more popular running backs, so that doesn't excite me as much. But just worth noting because he is a 5-box running back anytime Carolina is at home.
Right. And then everybody in 5,500 is considered a value to us. Travion Henderson starting it off. He's at 5,500 on the dot. And he's playing against Miami. And it's all I have to say. Honestly, it's all I have to say.
Yeah, Miami was out everywhere, and I mean, it kind of speaks for itself. The main thing with Travion is that he did have some looks in terms of receptions and stuff. Didn't really have a ton of holes, which is what we wanted to see. We expected a modest kind of debut, and his price didn't change because of that. So he's just going to be a less than 5% owned guy. It's annoying that Ramondre was 65% of the snaps, but all it takes is one Ramondre Stevenson fumble for him to literally take the rest of them from him. So I don't know when the breakout's coming. It is coming at some point. This could very well be the week, but it's worth noting because he's too cheap.
Yep. Demont, same matchup as Gibbs.
Yep.
Jalen Warren at 5,400 going up against Seattle. Seattle was terrible last week on defense, in there, at least on the rushing defense. So he has an opportunity to do well. And then Dylan Sampson at 5,200, the guy we talked about with the receiving upside at retail.
A little bit of an asterisk because if Quinton Judkins plays, then I have no idea. It's a complete unknown, but worth noting because James Cook went for over 20 this past week. Could have had 2 touchdowns if he didn't get tackled at the one. And Dylan Sampson led the team in receptions as a rookie running back, and it's awesome to see. So he is definitely on the value board and would be in a lot of our lineups if Quinton is ruled out.
Right.
But if he's in, makes you a little bit more nervous, but his ownership is going to reflect that.
Absolutely. Okay, let's build some lines. We'll get to all these other positions as we go. But which stack is your favorite?
Oh, what a question. Based on the excitement that I get about I don't understand the prices of Chicago. I kind of want to run it back.
Start with that.
Start with Caleb.
Prices don't make sense, so I get it.
Every single one. Yep. And the thing is,
both of them.
Yeah, I would say it's probably not necessary to double because of the other value on the slate. Sure. But let's start with the double, and if we got to pull back, we can pull back later.
Well, I mean, Rome might be the easiest click on the slate, though.
Rome is my favorite of the two. But I'm just saying that if we don't want to go to DJ because there's a lot of interesting 6K receivers that we want to get to, or running back, third running back, I'm fine pulling out.
I don't understand the 4,800. I'm just
now. I did mention that Jameer might be my favorite bring back, but at the same time, Sam Laporta, one of the only bright spots of Detroit's abysmal performance was he was a 9-target, leading the team in targets and receptions and yards, and he's only 4,800. So he is the next guy after Trey McBride. So if you are wanting to plug in a tight end that is not going all the way to the top, he's the guy that stands out to me at 4,800. So which one would you rather do?
Jameer.
Okay, that's fine.
Jameer.
The only thing is, Jameer does make more sense. The thing is, you won't be able to get to CMC based on the way we're probably going to go the rest of the way.
It's fine.
All right. So, in terms of other game, then we're going to go down to $5,700 for Travis Etienne and say, oh, you are the bell cow, hopefully, in a game that's probably, hopefully, closer. A lot of receptions to running backs. We've been saying that a lot on this episode. And then we are going to believe in Mr. Jamar Chase getting back on track against Jaguars. And that skinny just sounds very awesome to me. And because of the fact that you're going a double stack of Chicago, it's going to be very low duped.
Okay.
Now, the problem with this slate is that I don't feel great about the prices of a lot of 3:00 games. So I'm getting a lot of 8-1 builds, which is very nerve-wracking for, a 11-game slate.
Sure.
That said, though, defense-wise, we didn't really discuss. Top 2 options, not really interested in. Not interested in Baltimore because of how porous they look. San Francisco, I just complete unknown. I can get behind the Denver, but sure. After that, it's kind of 3,100 and below. So the Rams make sense against Tennessee.
I agree. That's the one I like.
Yeah, that's one I like. All of a sudden, New Orleans, who was very solid 8 points last week against Arizona, is playing just skeletons and corpses against San Francisco at 2,500. Yeah, that's a very interesting game. I will say, if you are a FanDuel player, there's a bunch that make no sense that are minimum price. Or Dallas is a home favorite for 3,400 on that site. It makes no sense. Just punt defense and figure it out with the rest of your lineup. But with this one, it's a little bit more difficult. I'd say let's start with New Orleans and see what else we can afford.
I think New Orleans makes a lot of sense against Jack Jones. So, all right. Got 5,250.
Yeah. So my favorite 3:00 guy is Marvin Harrison. And I just want to put him in a lot of my lines today. He's 5,800, and he just makes a lot of things work. 4,700 is basically the second tier tight ends. Tyler Warren is the last guy in a lot of spots. If you wanted to, you can go down and then try to afford, like I mentioned previously with DJ Moore, or we can try to squeeze in $100 more to get Samuel Porta. What do you feel like doing?
Who would you want in the 6K?
So JSN, one of the best target share leaders, only 6K against Pittsburgh, who just allowed a great performance against Garrett Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
So you would assume that JSN can inherit just as good of a matchup, trailing, all that fun stuff. Zay Flowers having 170 career high yards. Can go that route. Or you can run it back with Garrett Wilson as a Buffalo player. Yeah. What do you think? Because the easy correlation is going Garrett Wilson, and then I think that's enough for Dalton Kincaid. But if you don't want to go Kincaid running back with him again, then it's just kind of best available tight end low for.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's really hard to get. I just don't love the tight end, so maybe it's easiest to try to do a skinny.
Yeah,
and just make it that. Yeah, because then you don't have to. Like you can force a tight end on that, and you don't have to you're like, hey, I correlated it, right, worked out because of that. All right. Well, I like it. I mean, I love the prices for sure.
We correlated everything except for the defense. So, in the defense, I don't know how long they'll be, but I just think defense sprinkle around this week is the way to go.
Sure.
Ironically, the team I ended up taking out was Carolina because they were the minimum price team. I was like, there's so much value. You don't even need to go to 22. And they ended up having 8 points, and it would have really worked out. A lot more often than not, low defenses worked out for you. Weird games happen in the NFL. So
someone's going to get a defensive touchdown.
Exactly. They also don't bet 100% to a defense. It never works. Pittsburgh was the lowest total on the entire slate. They ended up being the highest scoring game.
It is what
it's football, man. Who's next stack you want to take a look at?
Let's go Trev.
All right.
At 56, man.
All right. So is your initial bring back going to be Jamar?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I was putting in.
All right.
And then
now with that being said, are we going to do running back receiver or are we going to double receiver? Or are you going to try to do Phil tight end with this?
I think I'm going to do tight end.
Okay. So Strange and Thomas?
Yeah.
Fair. He's 36.
Perfect. And then we'll just throw $2,500.
Yeah.
Defense.
And I know it sounds weird because you typically don't want to negatively correlate, but I'm fine if you want to play a Pearsall or a McCaffrey as a standalone with New Orleans. Usually you don't want to do that. Yeah. That's all they've got. So they're going to hit value. And if New Orleans just gets you 7, you're golden if you hit everything else.
Right. Okay. Get a running back. Let's see. How do I want to do this? I think I want Jonathan Taylor.
Really?
I think I do. I don't.
As a standalone?
Yeah, as my standalone. And then we'll figure it out in between. Because then I can still go to second. No.
The low 5K range at receiver is absolutely loaded this week.
Yeah, no, that's why it's almost worth going up at running back twice.
Gotcha. So, I mean, we could do Rome again.
Yeah.
There's Stephon Diggs down there.
I'm probably playing Rome.
Okay, let's do it.
But I'm probably going to put in one of these guys, and I'm trying to figure out which. Let's go with the stack.
Okay.
So we're
46 is going to be a weird price range if we do go Rome.
That's okay. Let's figure it out. Okay, let's go see. Because we're right there.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Downs, Correndo.
If you're a Butte believer again.
Okay. It is gross.
Yeah.
Okay. Then let's take Gibbs out. I'm seeing.
What if you put in Breece Hall?
He was a guy I wanted to get. I thought I was going to get him when we built the job.
I haven't had yet. So how about Breece Hall? Well, the problem is my thought. I mean, as the last guy named Marvin Harrison for the 3 o'clock game.
Sure.
But my initial thought was going to be doing something, but it was going to be 9 for 9 being 12 o'clock games. And I don't really love doing that. 12 o'clock.
We're playing early only. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to play early. Don't worry about Sunday. We're going to dive into it. But that is probably the look. But the thought I was thinking of is going Keon as the flex, and then they get you up to the Rams versus Cam Ward and the Titans. That was what my math was doing. But because it's a main slate, I'd rather have a 3 o'clock game.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so
but at the same time, since we did Jonathan Taylor, I forgot he's a 3.
Well, yeah, but we also did bring Strange, and that kind of messed things up.
Yeah,
in general. Okay, we're gonna have to build a Josh Allen.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going. So Josh Allen, how fluky was Keon Coleman's performance to you, or do you think he could truly be the number 1 this year? Because he really had nothing until the 4th quarter.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is I think that it worked out, but he also dropped some passes. Let me see what snap counts look like. Keon Coleman had 88%, Killer Shakur had 71, and Josh Palmer had 62. If I was building, I'd probably put Keon and Josh as my top 2, based on price and everything.
Do you think you need to double?
Do I think I need to? I don't know. Probably not.
Because last year in the Josh Allen house we played, we really didn't worry about doing doubles with him.
I'm hoping he scores all the touchdowns.
Because remember, I showed you it was going to
rushing prediction.
No, it's off to a very hot start with the 2 touchdown performance against the Ravens. So
telling you, it's going to happen. All right, so Josh Allen and Keon. How much was Keon?
Keon was 51, I believe.
Okay, I think that's fine.
Who's your preferred bringing back between Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall?
Breece. I thought he looked explosive.
I mean, it's not like Buffalo didn't give up career highs to almost both of them.
Yep.
So I don't know week in and week out. If it's just going to be they suck every week, it's going to be a little bit harder than like Cincinnati. Oh, they're only bad against the pass.
Right. Yeah.
So
okay, so that's my start.
Yeah.
Next game I'm going to be putting in is going to be Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Which
well, let's play Chase Brown at this line.
Yeah.
I think it's a week to get over the field to Chase as far as my present thoughts, but I also want to have equal to possibly more exposure to Chase Brown since you save $1,300 and he's as advertised. I don't know if you watched that game. He had like 6 straight negative runs, like tackled in the backfield, and then either got back to the line for no gain or lost 3 yards. And it was really upsetting me because of my
exposure.
Yeah.
Okay, which wide receiver then, or do you want to do our flex here, basically?
With Mr. Travis?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's kind of just makes things work when you go 5,700.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So Travis.
My fear though is that these projections we're looking at way too early in the week, and then also I don't know what the news of Tank Bigsby doing, but I could see a scenario where Travis Etienne is the most popular running back on the slate because of price and upside in the performance, and then he's the absolute fade because Jacksonville goes for 300 passing yards and Etienne only gets you 12.
I do love fading those guys.
No, exactly. Like Travis as a chalky guy, it's like it doesn't excite me at all.
Mm.
So that's just my only thoughts. I really like him. I like the matchup, all that fun stuff. But if he's going to be 30% owned, I want nothing to do with him.
Sure. Okay, well, which wide receiver do you want? Because I know there's 2 names that have been kind of put in every line, and they're really exciting for you, Rome and Marvin Harrison.
Well, we haven't put in Stephon Diggs yet.
I just don't know if I want to play him with the snap counts. That kind of scares me with the snap counts.
Yeah. He still has a 6 for 57.
Yeah, he did. No, when he's on the field.
So, who knows? I didn't. That was probably my least watched game of the weekend. So,
sure.
Going to be honest, didn't see a ton of it. I just was watching box score and watching for him to get his over, which he ended up doing. So, either or, but his price went down and the matchup's even better. So that's why he just kind of stuck out to me. And I don't think he's going to be high owned because it's not like he had the insane game. Boutte did. And nobody's going to be playing New England stacks.
Yeah. I think I want to get away as much as possible until I have a better idea because I just don't like the 41%. Pearsall's in that same range. We haven't talked about him enough.
Well, if we're not going Christian, let's put Pearsall.
Okay. Rome, tight end. What tight end do you want? Because then,
this could be the Trey McBride line.
I was going to say, we just go ahead and put Josh Allen and Trey McBride in the same one?
Sure.
Why not? Now, King Trey, 6,000.
That's 53.
Yeah, whoever you want. You could go like Diggs. You go to Rome. You could go up from the Saints.
I love Rome this week, but I don't know if I want to go all in. Another name worth mentioning because we don't know about Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown having 16 targets, going against Philly, who really was bad in the secondary, but Dallas didn't really statistically take advantage. So
I don't get that.
But now that they're game planning for him being a possible number one, maybe it's not successful. I mean, to not have 100 yards on 16 targets is pretty bad.
He played 93% of snaps.
But he played 93% of the snaps. I don't know. Just worth mentioning. He's also in the 3 o'clock slate, so it makes you feel a little better.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Hollywood?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or last thought is actually we don't have money for it. Never mind. I was gonna say going Travis Hunter instead of Travis Etienne and then go to Marvin, but one, that's 2 Arizona players. Don't want to do that. And then 2, we didn't have the money for it.
Perfect. Okay. One more build? Any more builds?
No, I think we pretty much covered it. I might force you to do a Drake May stack on Sunday, but that remains to be seen.
Drake May stack. Okay.
Props of the week. Last week, both of us going 0 for 1. Mine was the Chase Brown. Cincinnati, he was on pace for it, had 7 total yards in the second half. He had 3 targets in the second half, didn't catch any of them. 1 he did catch, they ruled it a run, and I was sad about it. Either way, it's not great. Just know that you have a free square to look at with Travis Kelce this week, so make sure you play that if you're going to be doing on PrizePicks. And then on Underdog, they're going to be doing profit boost discounts and possibly free squares also, so keep an eye on that. Do you have a profit of the week?
I did, and now I'm sad because I'm looking at it on my phone, and it does not say what it says on the board. So I don't know if my phone is wrong or if the board is wrong, but there's a 2-yard difference. I have 71.5 on my phone and 73.5 on the board. What is that about? So I don't hate either of them. And unfortunately, I just don't like that it went up 2 yards since I've been sitting here. But Puka Nacua, he's going to get every pass, it feels like. He's going to have 15. He's going to have 15 targets as long as Matthew Stafford is healthy. And I think that he is possibly going to be the wide receiver 1 in football based on what I watched. They scored 14 total points, and he had 24 fantasy points or something like that. I'm going to take Puka Nacua over 73.5. I think it's too low, even at 73.5. I liked it at 71.5 PrizePicks, so screw you. But that's where I'm going. I think that one.
I mean, that's completely fair. It just usually I hate going that high on receivers just because weird things can happen. He could have 8 for 64 and a score and go off DFS wise and just not hit your over.
Yeah.
But that's a good number, especially with the opportunities and volumes he has. Mine is actually, I feel really strongly about this actually. It's Drake May, 216 passing yards is what I'm going to say over for. We saw Dan Jones be QB1 in terms of fantasy on the main slate. Now Drake May, who had 46 passing attempts in not fair weather, going against a worse secondary in hopefully, unless it does a Florida thunderstorm. We saw Jacksonville's game get delayed for what it was worth. So yeah, they could pop up anywhere. But if it is good weather, fair weather, 46 passing opportunities in bad weather, I just think they want to put Drake May the ball in his hands. And 216 just feels like a very, serviceable amount for a situation that I want to take advantage of this week.
Sure, absolutely. I get it. Okay, well, those are our 2. And don't forget to get that Travis Kelce free square. We're actually recording this on a Tuesday. And if you look, there are also some tacos. Wait, where's the taco? It's in the receiving. So make sure you take all the advantages that PrizePicks is going to give you is basically what I'm going to try to say. They give you those profit boosts. They give you all kinds of stuff. There's that free square.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
So make sure you get as many of those free squares as possible and plug them in. So,
and then on top of that, this video, I believe, is going to come out on Friday.
Yeah.
So, it is Flex Friday. They're going back and forth between protected plays and boosts. But either way, take advantage, opt in if you're going to be playing. And it's better to be playing getting your Sunday lines ready the week of, not the night or the morning of,
right? Because
the props are going to be juiced. Friday is usually when the fantasy scores come out, and that's what I usually hammer. So be on the lookout in the Discord. If we see anything that stands out college football-wise, NFL-wise, we are going to be definitely sending screenshots and props that stick out.
As I was texting one of our buddies, and I said, no matter what, we're taking Jonah Coleman's over on these. And yeah, it's had 288 total in 2 games. So get his over too. But yeah, very excited about this weekend, getting some of these props, college football, NFL, and then also building lines and hanging out with you guys on Sunday. So we appreciate y'all hanging out with us, and see you on the next one.